All right, so going over this DI. It says these are the pair of functions f and g to find the values if they exist. So you have to do each 6 bullet points for each of these. So if it says f plus g of 2, that's the same as my f function with 2 plugged in plus my g function with 2 plugged in. So that's going to be 3 times 2 plus 1 plus 4 minus 2. So that's 7 plus 2, so that's going to be 9. So this one means you multiply or add the functions together. This one means you multiply. This means you divide, subtract, divide. So g over f of negative 2. So g over f of negative 2 is g of negative 2 over f of negative 2, which means g with negative 2 plugged in over my f function with negative 2 plugged in. And so that's negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 over 4. So my suggestion is to break them up like this. The temperature T in degrees Fahrenheit hours after 6 a.m. So this would be very similar to the one we did yesterday. So T of 0, it's your function with 0 plugged in. And so that equals 3. So so this means that the temperature at 6 a.m. is going to be 3 degrees Fahrenheit. The height of an object dropped from the roof of an 8-story building is modeled by that function. H is the height off the ground. T is the seconds after it's dropped. Find h of 0. Solve when h of t equals 0. So h of 0 is plugging 0 into your function. Now what does that mean, right? That means that that is the height before I dropped it. And then solving h of t equals 0, so that means you have to set it equal to 0. Subtract 64. Divide by negative 16. Square root both sides. Now it's supposed to be plus or minus, but you can't have negative time, so that's why I didn't include it. Now, where h of t equals 0, this is where the height is 0. So it takes 2 seconds for it to hit the ground. Population of Sasquatch in Portage County can be modeled by this function, where t represents the number of years since 1803. Find and interpret p of 0. So that means you plug in 0 into your function. So that's the population at 1803. And then p of 205 means you plug in 205. But 1803 plus 205, right, that's going to be 2008. So that's the population of Sasquatch at 2008. But you still need to find what that population is going to be. So what is the applied domain and range, right? So in terms of time, you know, you can start here and it can go on forever. But the number of population, right, technically it should be integers, right? And it should be positive integers or 0. So the cost to ship 10 comic books, 10 is between 1, so you'd plug 10 into there. What's the significance of it setting equal to 0 for this? That means you get free shipping, right? The shipping cost is nothing. Find the domain. So for this one, it's in the denominator. So square root of theta minus 8 cannot equal 0. And it's inside of the square root. So theta minus 8 has to be greater than or equal to 0. Square both sides. Add 8. So theta can't equal 8. Add 8 here. Theta has to be greater than or equal to 8. Well, to combine these two statements, if it can't equal 8 and it's greater than or equal to 8, but it can't equal 8. So to combine them, I can just think of it like that. And that goes on forever. So that would be from 8 to infinity. Because it's an odd root, no domain restriction. Select all the different information should be attained. So we have all these seniors for Westville High School. We have all these seniors for Centerville High School. So to determine the graduation rate. So that means the percentage of seniors that graduate. So the total number of students won't help us because not all the students are graduating, right? It's only seniors. So the total number of students, we don't need those, but we do need the total number of seniors. That's going to help us calculate the graduation rate.